ex-love and ex-husband. Dear Becky, if you're reading this, it means you're at your mom's and have discovered that we no longer have our own house. In this envelope is the key to the Green Street storage unit with your clothes and personal effects. I paid a month's rent for storage. I didn't have time to pack it neatly, so I hope you won't mind the 12 garbage bags I used. I tried to be gentle with fragile items. Well, I tried. Thanks for leaving me a letter on the mantelpiece when you and Brad went on the 2-week cruise with those tickets I brought home. You were so surprised when I walked in and found you and Brad making love in our bed. I could tell by the smirk on that asshole's face that he was so proud of himself and his body when you begged him not to stop. I don't know what my best performance was. The sad look on my face when I saw the two of you, or when I threw the flowers and tickets and told you to take your lover on the cruise because you obviously didn't want me anymore. I saw Brad's eyes light up when he heard about the cruise, and he had that smirk on his face. Yeah, because he thought he'd won. Or my best performance might be the 3 weeks I had to act humiliated because that asshole was telling everyone in the office how he was using my wife because I wasn't man enough to take care of her. Even the office manager came to my desk to laugh at me. Please thank Brad for the email he left at work letting everyone know he was going on a 2-week cruise at my expense with my wife as his bed partner. I also want to thank you both for discussing that business trip he was sending me on so the two of you could be together for 4 days. Hey, I'm glad you admitted that he seduced you at the Christmas party at work. I know he's flirted with you at other company parties, but until this incident, I hadn't seen the two of you slip away. But at the Christmas party, I saw you two making love for the first time and took a picture with my phone. In your letter, you express how happy you are to see him. I am truly happy for you, because his wife says he knows nothing about foreplay or lovemaking. She describes him more like a stud with a pump and dump truck. He has lasting power, but she suggests that you'll soon get bored of him. She finds me and my tender lovemaking with affectionate foreplay more enjoyable. Yes, his wife and I are now lovers. I went to their house and showed her your picture about 2 weeks after the Christmas party, which she didn't know about. We originally planned to make love out of revenge, but found that we were so good in bed that we just started making love regularly. The more we met and talked, the more we fell in love with each other. That's when we started planning the cruise and the ultimate revenge lovemaking for the two of you. We started recording all of your conversations so we knew what you two were planning. My lawyer liked the conversations when you and Brad were discussing where to send me next. Tina and I were worried that you wouldn't give in to the main part of the plan. The hardest part was convincing you to sell the house first. I thought you'd buy the offer to buy us a bigger house in a better neighborhood, and you did. Second, I stormed in with the papers you were supposed to sign right after I saw Brad leave. I knew you'd smell like that asshole and want me out of the house. You didn't disappoint me again. You looked really scared when I ran in until I explained that I needed signatures on some papers for the realtor. You signed without even looking. I even heard you breathe a sigh of relief as I hurried out of the room. You signed the power of attorney without looking. And finally, I burst in on the two of you making love. I was as nervous as I could be when I walked into the bedroom. I wasn't nervous about discovering you were being serviced by this arrogant asshole. I was afraid I couldn't look sad and weak enough to make my performance look believable. I must have put on a great performance because you two were making derogatory comments and smirking at my misery. When I moved my clothes into the guest room after Brad left so he had somewhere to put his clothes, I thought you were going to roll around with joy. Then you used that sad, pouty voice to say you were sorry and I could come to your bed and eat the leftovers because Brad had given his permission. When I turned around and looked at you with tears in my eyes, it was because I had to poke my fingers in them first to bring on the tears. I loved the way you grinned. I wanted to stay as far away from you as possible, just like Tina, Brad's wife, stayed away from him. I know he doesn't wear a wedding ring and tells women he's not married, but trust me, he's been married for 5 years. You, Becky, are about the 8th or 9th affair his wife has suspected since they got married. The reason for this letter is to tell you and Brad that Tina and I have dumped you cheaters. We are not asking for divorces. If you two want a divorce, you are welcome to pay for it. Information for Brad. He will, of course, call you when he finds out that Tina has sublet their apartment. Unlike me, she donated his clothes to the Salvation Army. We found a couple willing buyers who bought all the furniture from our house and later their apartment. Tina and I need somewhere to live after our house was sold and her apartment sublet, so we went to Europe to think about it. Tina emptied the bank accounts but left the credit cards open for our trip since we were low on cash. Tell Brad he will definitely love all those frequent flyer miles we got for him. While you two were traveling, we spent a week in Europe, in top-notch five-star hotels, all on Brad's cards. You might regret choosing Brad. His credit limits aren't very high. In our first 4 days in Europe, we fully utilized 3 cards. Thank goodness he had 4 more to provide us with for the rest of the trip. Now that I've told Brad all the good news about Tina, our trip, the apartment, and the bank, I'm going to have to give him the bad news. I'm sure he'll be fired when he goes back to work. I filed an alienation of affection lawsuit against him, the branch manager, and the company. When my lawyer went to the main office in New York, the first thing he did was scroll through the tape of you and Brad bragging about sending me out of town to make love to you. He then scrolled a tape of other employees coming up to my desk to humiliate me for being hornswoggled by Brad, with the branch manager joining in the humiliation. Next, the attorney presented Brad's email about the cruise on the company's server. After seeing and hearing all of this, the company's lawyers fully complied with our humble request for money and layoffs if I would sign a confidentiality agreement. They faxed the agreement to me at work. I signed and sent it back along with my resignation letter. They gave my attorney 2 checks, one for his fee and one for me, consisting of my cash pension, settlement, and any unused vacation days. I was retired before you and the asshole even boarded the ship. Tina also sold one of their cars and her sailboat. Tell Brad he should watch what he signs before he runs out the door. He, like you, gave Tina his power of attorney. She was going to sell the car you came home in, but decided it wouldn't do much, considering how many payments were left. Now about you, my loving wife, who took great pleasure in tooting my horn and calling me a wuss. While you and Brad were laughing, Tina and I were planning. All the humiliation you two heaped on me is now coming back to you both double. I hope your mom lets you and Brad stay at her house. When I gave her the letter, I explained to her that you were on a cruise with your lover, and that I was leaving you because I couldn't bear the humiliation of the two of you openly making love in our home. I gave her a copy of your humiliating letter. She seemed very upset about your promiscuous behavior, that's what she said. I merely called you a good wife who chose to be a cheater for another man. Your mother thought that adequately described your actions. Anyway, you signed the power of attorney earlier, refer to the beginning of the letter if you've forgotten, so I sold the furniture then when you boarded the ship. I moved my clothes and belongings into Tina's hotel room. When Brad sent me to Florida for those 4 days, I took a couple days of medical leave, flew out of the country, and opened a bank account in the Cayman Islands. When we closed the sale of the house, I transferred the money into my new account. As I explained, my wife was not present at the closing of the sale because she was looking for a new place to live, and I would be leaving soon. Accordingly, they were more than happy to help. I also sold both of our cars, as I didn't need them. I closed credit card accounts except for one in my name only, so hopefully you didn't try to use the cards while traveling. That could have been pretty embarrassing. I closed all of our bank accounts, and again that power of attorney came in handy. The home buyers happily transferred the money into my new account. Oh, I used your share of that money to pay off our joint credit cards before the cards were closed. I'm thoughtful, huh? I always thought you were one of the most beautiful women I'd ever seen until I met Tina. Now I know Brad's an idiot for cheating on a goddess like Tina. She has shoulder-length brown hair and sparkling green eyes. She's short and slender, with perfect little breasts that won't sag to her belly button like you'll have in a couple years, and a nice ass. She's 4 years younger than me, so I'll have a young mistress while Brad takes your much older ass. When we were in Europe, men watched with envy as she held my hand as we walked around. All eyes were fixed on us as we danced in the evenings. The stars watched as we made love every night. Tina and I hadn't decided where we were going to live yet. With our combined money, we don't have to work anymore, so we'll probably be traveling around looking for the perfect place to retire. I know you liked your part-time job because you said that sitting at home bored you. Well, now you can enjoy the benefits of working full-time. You and Brad could do a job search together. Or you could always find an evening job on one of the corners downtown. You told me in your letter how much you like it when you cheat on me. You'll have all the options you want and deserve. Just remember your weekly checkups and HIV tests. Your ex-lover, and ex-husband, the end.